Alright. Hello and welcome anybody that joins in. We do have a tornado warning right now. This is in Virginia going into North Carolina now. Yes, Virginia heading into North Carolina. This storm did have an initial rotation that died out. Now it looks like we have a new rotation developing. It's rather broad, and it's kind of in the center of this just huge mass generally. So we don't sorry, oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, because you look, time 5:48. We go here, time 5:48. So this rotation is right here near this hash line, which would be embedded right in the center of this storm. I don't know why they issued that warning so far south. Let's see what's happening elsewhere. Just severe thunderstorms currently elsewhere. We can swap over to here where this we do have some kind of semi-discrete cells popping up down here. Nothing indicative yet. You can look at the velocities here. Nothing necessarily showing any rotation, at least to my eyes. That's probably some digital glitching from high winds, at least if I had to make an assumption. Yeah, just 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Then we also have this cluster up here, which is kind of a big mess, to be quite honest. Again, nothing that would catch my eye at first. So our main focus will stay on this storm down here, which doesn't look as good as it once used to. I mean, it's still, obviously it still has a lot of potential, but let's go ahead and check Twitter here real quick. Here we go, from Justin Buczynski here. This is the storm that's near Chatham. Let's see if Justin Western. Huh. Okay. So this was the storm 4:35 over an hour ago. Mean HP supercell with massive hail. Yeah. He's right in the middle of it. Okay. Let's keep that posted there. We still have a tornado warning on this storm. Now, again, I don't know why this polygon is so much lower down here. It's definitely going to cross into the more northern part of this polygon here. You can see other storms here. Nothing too exciting from these storms. again, still just the 2 tornado warnings. I mean, granted, they are both for this one current location. So, if you know anybody that lives in, let's see, what's around here? Virgilina, near Milton, anywhere like around Virgilina, south of South Boston, Virginia, northeast of Roxborough. Anybody that lives in this general area should definitely be sure to inform them. Who knows? They may not have cable. They may not have anything to really inform them on what's going on here. Now this is a HP hail mess. Now this thing, I mean, look at it's you're on the very high end. I know that my face kind of blocks this down here, but I mean that's not important. You get that the pinks and the purples are obviously you know, harder rain, hail, stuff like that. We probably just have this is probably just a wind and hail threat mainly out here. If I could get on the warning, that would be nice. Yeah, hail, I assume that these will all be 2-inch hail, quarter size hail. Yeah, I assume that pretty much all of these storms out here in the Oklahoma area, storms back here towards Texas, will probably be more of just hail, strong winds, kind of stuff like that. New tornado warning issued on this storm back here in Virginia. I don't know what's this is probably the closer radar to this one. No, I think this one probably gives us a higher resolution picture. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so we still do have strong rotation on this storm. So rotation has not changed very much. We can see. You know anybody who lives in the in Halifax County, South Central Virginia. Again, Virgilina. This is coming straight towards Virgilina. If you know anybody who lives there, let's go ahead and check. Virgilina has a population of about 100 people. So this is very good. This is good that this is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Again, it went through Chatham, heading southeast. Now it's heading more easterly. And this storm is not necessarily weakened. It's very strong. Even if this thing does not put down a tornado or anything like that. My apologies. My throat is a little messed up. I just want to make sure that my sound and everything was good. Okay. So we have South Boston. Again, still not much happening here. I'm going to take a drink real quick. Again, we're still pretty much just focused on this storm here in Virginia, just south of South Boston, south of Halifax, heading towards Virgilina, which is a much smaller town thank goodness, only has a population of about 90 people. But still, places like this with low populations may be separated from the larger areas. Maybe they don't have the best internet connection, whatever it may be. If you know anybody who lives in this area, let them know. Make sure that they're aware. Or maybe you might live in one of these areas. Either way, this tornado warning expires in about 40 minutes. And it looks... So this thing was tracking southeast, and now it looks like it's kind of made a left turn. It came down from Chatham and is now kind of... This, I wouldn't quite trust this track currently. It looks like it's trying to just ride along the border of Virginia and North Carolina. So this tornado warning is, I mean, if you're down here near Roxborough, you should be safe. The main concern is still on this the southern border of Virginia, with the northern border of North Carolina. You can see the rotation on this is still plenty strong enough for the tornado warning to continue. Having issues with my throat lately. My apologies, everybody. We have a couple thunderstorms that are popping up down here. So one thing I hate whenever the radar does this, it's kind of hard to see. I mean, because who knows, there could be rotation here that we can't quite see. Nothing that I would call directly, unless obviously the National Weather Service says something. Looks like they've shortened this. Wow, this does not look that impressive on this radar. On this radar, it still looks decent. Although this storm is weakening, so good news if you live near the Virgilina area. Halifax is probably more known. Just south of Halifax. Again, this thing was heading kind of directly southeast and is now kind of turned to the left. Is heading more east. Southeast, kind of just riding the southern border of Virginia currently. Nothing major going on elsewhere by the looks of it. So I'm going to try to see if I can find any. Had some serious hailstones in, I believe this is Arkansas. Hail and wind are definitely going to be a major threat. Wind is kind of the main concern. And it looks like let's see. Keep monitoring this storm down here. It's also like 100 degrees in my dorm room. I am in a college dorm, if you're wondering where I'm at currently. Yes, I'm a college student. And I love weather. any of you guys are tuning in, I hope you're enjoying the stream. This is my first ever stream or video, anything I have done on YouTube with this channel. I've done YouTube with some other channels of mine that I have created and still do stuff on. It's so odd how this thing still looks somewhat decent. It's definitely much weaker. But if we take a look at the radar from down here, it just doesn't look nearly as good. Like, that's just not the typical tornado signature you would see. Now, if we go up to the radar up here, this looks a bit better, marginally better, but not great. Not great. It looks like that storm is weakening a bit, especially from what it was just some minutes ago. Hopefully, we can get the tornado warning off of that, although this storm has recycled a couple times, so we'll see if it tries to pull in some more inflow and tries to recycle a new base, a new mesocyclone, and tries to put down maybe not another tornado, because I don't know if it's even put down a tornado at all. My assumption is that based off of the signature that was here, and based off of the fact that the storm did strengthen halfway between Chatham and where it is now, like right around here was probably its max strength. Nothing really on radar, at least, could say that there's a tornado here. And still nothing to really give any definitive information. Again, if you guys are liking the stream, leave a like, subscribe, share it with any of your family, friends, anybody who may not have access to cable or other information. This might be the only way that they may get weather updates. Overall, I love the weather, and I would really like to try to spread the word out there. A lot of times, you can see rotation and stuff on storms prior to a tornado warning being issued. And a lot of times I'll just be glued to the radar and I'll be like, oh, they're going to issue a tornado warning on that. And then they do. So I kind of like to give early shout outs as like, hey, this looks like it, it's rotating. They'll probably put a tornado warning on this. Let's see about some of the storms down here. Louisiana and Arkansas. We got some messy ones up here. Again, I mean, we just saw on our last storm that sometimes the radar doesn't give you the best picture. So you have to kind of eyeball things to a degree. We still have a strong enough signature that this storm would likely have a rotating meso, possibly a wall cloud, even a tornado is I'm sorry. Even a tornado is not necessarily out of the picture. But I would say it's probably more unlikely based off of the signature we have here. Especially it looks like it's weakening, which is a good thing. And anybody who's joining in as well, if you live in a certain area where these storms are coming, you don't know much about weather. I assume if you're tuning into this that maybe you do, because, you know, I don't have really any subscribers or any views or watch time or anything like that. But I could always check out a storm for you and let you know my 2 cents on it. I do this as more of a hobby, but I have a love for it, and I've been doing this ever since I turned 16. I loved looking at radars and looking at the velocity and trying to determine if a storm is rotating or something. Why does this storm have to be miles away from any radar? And you can't see anything on this storm. If that is accurate, which it is hard to tell with it being so far away, that is slight rotation. And I mean, this area has produced tornado warned storms, so obviously the ingredients are here. We can go back to our original storm. Now, if you look through, today is actually a rather large severe weather day. We have the tornado warning associated with the storm here in Virginia. We have multiple tornado warnings, or multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in North Carolina and Virginia. We have a ton of them spread across Oklahoma. We have one down here in Texas. Obviously, the derecho or Boeing line segment that's supposed to be moving through here. We do have some, obviously, up here pushing through towards Kentucky. I mean, they're in Missouri currently. They'll be pushing through towards Illinois and Kentucky, towards Tennessee. Then you have Mississippi, Alabama, really covering a large amount of states. If we pull up the Storm Prediction Center, you can see that this was wholly expected today. We have the moderate risk for strong winds or significant strong winds. I don't think it's played out as strong as what was maybe expected, but the chance is still there, and there obviously is a very strong hail threat. Again, that mainly consists of this southwestern part of storms. My apologies, let me swap back to here. So all the storms back here, Oklahoma, Texas, kind of in this general region here have a higher risk of producing some large hail. Other than that, the hail is not forecasted to be too strong. Now, there's a chance of strong tornadoes here near the Jackson, Mississippi area, pushing into far, far western Alabama. The 10% risk covers a large area, though. I'm surprised that we do have that tornado warning that did have a relatively strong signature on it out here in this 2% tornado risk. And this tornado warning still is continuing just south of South Boston. This storm has not moved south at all. It has moved straight east, which is very surprising. It is really not very far off from South Boston. Just only 5 miles. That's relatively close. And Halifax is probably the closer location. Here we got 10.4 miles, and we can see the velocity. That's probably right here where these two winds are colliding is where the tornado would be. About 8 miles to the south of Halifax. This rotation right here. I know that this says that the storm is moving this direction, but I think it's actually moving more directly east towards Boydton, Clarksville, let's see, South Hill, La Crosse. You're probably far enough north and far enough out that this doesn't concern you. But Clarksville, if you live in this general area, be prepared. This storm will likely maintain enough strength to warrant a tornado warning for this area too. Maybe Boydton, if it does stay strong enough and keep pushing east like it wants to. Let's go ahead and sorry. There we go. Looks like this is continuing to weaken. It's definitely weakening, especially the last few radar scans. We're looking at a storm that is probably going to lose its tornado warning at some point here within the next half hour or so. Now this radar actually has the rotation a little farther north of this notch here. Is that? No, that's about right. That's about right. So, yeah, this rotation is definitely pushed much farther north. It's now on the very northern tip of this tornado warning. If they do issue a new warning, it will have to be more north. South Boston, this is right on top of you. That uses my own location. My bad. We can head back out here to some of these storms. None of them look necessarily like the prototypical tornado producer storms we do. Well, it looks like we did have some minor rotation here. We're going to flip back. Maybe that's just an embedded sort of outflow convergence type of deal there. Our tornado warning is still going on our storms out there. Storms here in Arkansas. Let's go ahead and check. If this reading is correct, there may be some minor rotation there. It is extremely hard to tell right here. Yeah, right down here. That might be some rotation embedded along this this line here. So let's get the location here. That's near Hamburg, Arkansas, heading towards Montrose, Lake Village, Portland, Parkdale. All of these locations. Hopefully we can continue to get updates on that. That definitely looks like rotation. Now I don't know, it's pretty far from the radar, which definitely is a concern to the validity of whether or not this is true. But I mean that's pretty typical looking rotation right there. One way that you can tell that something is rotation and not necessarily an outflow or just convergence of an outflow is the radar is right here. So you have the radar beam coming from this direction, and you can tell that something is rotating because the way these two winds meet up is directly in line with that radar right there. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, it's not extremely strong. We have a pocket of like 55 there, but nothing huge. I think that storm probably looks better than this one over here currently. That's obviously my own opinion on that. Yeah, this storm has weakened significantly. It has also gone north now. So we have still, if you're in Scottsburg, it looks like this storm really just wants to, it still should miss you. This storm probably will go kind of to the north of Clarksville, in between Chase City and Boydton. I just don't see it continuing to the south. We've now had about 10 minutes of consistent east, even maybe east to northeast movement, where the storm just wants to inch just north just a tiny bit while it's moving east. So I'll have to keep an eye on was it this one right here? Yeah, that looked like it may have some embedded rotation here. I would say that there is a possibility that could go tornado warned. A possibility. I would definitely like to wait and see if we can kind of get it out of the messy part of this radar, maybe closer to some of the other radars around, like this radar over here in Jackson, Mississippi. Whoa. What is wow. That's more on the front end of it. Look at velocity. I mean, yeah, you do have converging winds right about here. Is it pointed directly at the radar too? Here's the radar. Yep, just about pointed directly at the radar. There's a very good chance that could go tornado warned. Sorry, I have to respond to a text message. Sorry, I need to do something. There we go. We can save that now. We've been streaming for about 38 minutes so far. I was a little late to the party on this one. Yeah, I can't imagine that that's going to keep a tornado warning for much longer. I just don't see anything significant enough to warrant maintaining a warning on that. Now, this right here does look interesting. It's kind of in the middle of this line right here, which is not the prototypical supercell, but you could have embedded supercells within these lines. I mean, you definitely have winds that could be causing rotation. Slight chance that this gets issued a tornado warning. It's also weakened a little bit. Probably less of a chance that it gets a tornado warning now. Let's go ahead and look at some of these storms out here in Oklahoma. Sorry, my eyes are kind of doing me wrong right now. They're nothing crazy. Again, the main concern for these storms out here in Oklahoma was hail. So I assume quarter size hail, 2-inch hail. I think I've already looked at some of these storms earlier. 2-inch hail, quarter sized hail. Again, if you're in the Oklahoma area, your main concern is going to be hail, gusts of wind. Really, this region is the main concern. And we'll go ahead and pull back up the Storm Prediction Center and see, maybe we'll pull up pivotal weather, pull up the models. For the Southeast U.S. See, what do we get for South Central U.S.? That is if it ever loads, apparently. Because it seems like the main concern, especially for tornadoes, was more around the Jackson, Mississippi, Alabama area. Which would be right around here. So let's check out the HER, which is the most high resolution radar. Let's get our significant tornado parameters. So this is 18Z. Those parameters, we really get an explosion around 20Z, which I believe so 20Z would be 8 p.m. Zulu, which is 4 p.m. here, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So we still have some decent tornado parameters. A long curved lower level amount of shear, than the upper levels kind of meh. But I mean, you can see deep level shear looks really good. Significant hail, 119 loose matches. That's crazy. That's probably like the most matches I've ever seen for anything. Let's try to nail it right in the center of these mechs. Let's go ahead and just look nationally at the significant tornado parameters. We know that this is 8 o'clock, or well, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So this is at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, I mean, you do have some somewhat decent parameters out here that just kind of give you marginal tornado risk. You have decent cape with some decent shear. You have like a sickle shaped lower level shear. Again, the upper level shear is not amazing, but you can see the wind barbs down here are all over the place. Oh, we actually have some stronger significant tornado, which is right on the border, kind of nearer to the ocean there. We still have a tornado warning on this storm. I'm really surprised. I thought for sure they were gonna take that warning off. They have not, though. They've stuck with it. So tornado warning continues towards the Clarksville area. This track is now probably a little bit more proper. Tracking just north of Clarksville towards Boydton. Definitely south of Chase City. Again, this is the first time I've ever done this, guys, so if I run into some issues, I apologize. That looks like it could have a chance, you know? Could have a chance if it wants to. It does kind of have like a southwestern pointing appendage under it. Hopefully the clicking of my mouse is not too loud. I kind of have my microphone just sitting here in front of me. It's kind of a jerry-rigged type setup since I'm a college student and I live in a dorm. And the amount of money that I possess is not large to really do a ton with. That's okay. We're doing what we enjoy. I really thought we would see more tornado warnings, but we don't. I know I'm going through this a little quick. You guys can always type in the chat. I can see the chat, by the way. So if you guys want me to check out a specific location, a specific storm, just have general questions, shoot those at me. I would love to answer. Obviously, I don't know all of the thermodynamics and everything behind storms, but I know enough of the basic information and I know how to read the radar enough that I can kind of piece together the puzzle This looks much better now. Whoa. It's entering that area of stronger significant tornado parameters later on. Where was that? Oh, this is into Saturday. Bring it back to Friday. It's pretty much right on this location, right on the border. Again, the deep layer shear is really incredible. Let's head back. That definitely looks like a storm that is rotating. It does kind of have that southern appendage there. If this continues to strengthen, I don't think there is a closer radar to this. There's not, so it's probably about as close as we're gonna get. I don't anticipate that this will stay tornado warned for much longer. This rotation looks weak and almost negligent to me. However, we'll still say be on the lookout. Watch the weather if you live in this Bermuda Triangle right here of Chase City, Clarksville, and Boydton, in this general triangle here. I think the main concern is probably more south of Chesapeake here. That is strengthening. We've now had 3 updates of strengthening winds here. I would say if this continues to strengthen for maybe another couple minutes, they will probably put a tornado warning out on this. In fact, I would venture to say that this storm might deserve a tornado warning here soon. Remember, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, don't be afraid to leave a like, comment something, subscribe, whatever it is you guys want to do. Let me go back again. My apologies, guys. I just I don't know how you really check that. Huh. Okay. So I assume that this would be science and technology. See, even the radar now has a TVS on it. Yeah, feature type TVS, which means I believe tornado vortex signature or something like that. Still don't understand why there is a tornado warning here. If you live within this polygon, I think that you're probably going to be safe at this point. I don't see any reason that should continue. This is getting stronger. I believe that they'll probably... Yeah. They will probably issue a tornado warning on that storm. If it were my guess, that's what I would do. I hate when the radar gets all cluttered. They've got to issue a tornado warning on that storm. They've really got to. Like, this is... Storm definitely has rotation, and you can even kind of see the inflow notches feeding in right here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you live... This is North Carolina now? Yes, it is. We are below the border. If you're in... oh gosh, my eyes. This storm is rotating, for sure. Whether or not this will produce a tornado, there's no telling. But rotation is present here. I have the cap on. We'll stay on to see what happens here. The tornado warning has gone away on our other storm. Although, is this recycling again? This storm may be recycling, and it may try to do it again, but farther north. I really thought that they were gonna, whoops. Thought for sure that they would issue a tornado warning on that, but they still have yet to do so. I still think they will issue a tornado warning on this. Even if they don't, this is definitely a rotating storm, mesocyclone, you know, this storm is rotating, and anything could happen. Now we'll flash back to our previously tornado warned storm, which may be doing its own thing here pretty soon. Alright, so we'll see the latest update. Yep, still a rotational signature there. Why? I see. Again, this storm could be building back up. I'll keep an eye on these two locations. You have here in North Carolina, South Mills, Mayock. Let's see, where's the general direction it's heading? Okay, so we're heading probably directly in between Mayock and South Mills. It's about 5 miles north of you, South Mills, and just about 5-6 miles southwest of Mayock, more like west-southwest. You guys should definitely be aware if you live anywhere between these locations or southeast of these locations. Definitely towards the coastline. This is where we've seen that pocket of instability here, where we have the significant tornado parameters. It's right along here at 1Z, which would be oh my gosh, and why am I like 9 p.m. would probably be when this would have the highest chance of ever producing anything, but it's still there. And if we go back to the models and we go back to 8 p.m., 7 p.m. I mean, this is what we're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and check the latest run. It has somewhat moderate, well, not moderate, just very slight significant tornado parameters. We do have quite a few matches with the supercell analysis here, or the analogs. This is what's kind of indicative. If you see wind barbs all over the place like this at the lower levels, that tells you, you have winds going in all sorts of different directions. You have a lot of wind shear there for storms to feed off of. I cannot believe that they never issued a warning on this storm. Obviously, I know you don't want to issue a warning too preemptively, but I think this thing could easily still try and produce. I mean, it looks pretty good on radar, both on velocity and on reflectivity. Yeah, this one could be re-intensifying back here. It may be. Now, the thing that you commonly get from these derechos or Boeing lines or QLCSs, whatever, is you'll just get little kinks in the line where winds are converging, like here. Usually you won't produce a long-lived typical tornado that way. It'll be more of a sort of spin up that just happens from converging winds, just in a volatile atmosphere, a volatile storm. Or you'll get embedded supercells, which can produce some more longer lived, long track tornadoes. But I don't think that that's the most likely thing for us to see today. Alright, we will sort of wait for a little bit to see what we get out of this. If we don't end up seeing anything that looks too great, chances are we are going to probably just leave it where it is. That's 9. This is 5. So this is 7 p.m. We do have a little explosion of significant tornado parameters in the... Whoa. It's a PDS tornado. $3,140 Cape. And you do have significant deep layers here. You see winds coming from this direction and slowly changing and pointing this way with height. That's a wind shear. That's really kind of exactly what you need. Now it would be better if this went farther up and you didn't have the backing winds here, but that's not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, whenever you have all the ingredients coming together like this, I understand why this is a PDS tornado. Yeah, I assume that was just going to be a tornado. Again, that's definitely just a hail producer. Look at this again. I know that we have a large amount of matches for significant hail, and I think that that's definitely more of the concern rather than having a PDS tornado. So this is around 9 p.m. Nothing out in Virginia or North Carolina. No tornado warnings on a day where we have a 10% hatched risk. So it seems like the tornado risk will probably increase. Threat of significant tornadoes given expected size of low-level photographs. So that's Mississippi into Alabama. That's what we see here. Right now, there's nothing crazy on this. But in about an hour, 2 hours, those parameters definitely ramp up. We see a tornado sounding here. Definitely closer to the Louisiana. It might have a PDS. Yep, PDS. What's the difference? I don't remember what I did with my glasses. Well, we may take a little break from the stream now. We've streamed over an hour. We just had one tornado warning come through. Nothing else now. Although this storm still looks interesting to me, somewhat. I don't know. Doesn't look as good as what it did for just a little bit. Still do have converging winds here, here. See, the radar is here. Red is wind going away. Green is wind going towards. It's counterclockwise. That's the proper rotation. Living in a dorm is also pretty loud. If you hear stuff going on in the background, can't really do a ton about that, sadly. Well, I'm trying to find something interesting. Now, there is some maybe minor rotations. You know, you have little things here and there that are visible, but at the end of the day, yeah, we may take a break. Go ahead and look. So this would be at, so this is at 8 p.m. It's as much info as we have. Well, let's run it back a little bit. It's 8 p.m. 9, 10. I assume that the ones down here will... Some marginal tornado? Oh my lord, look at the backed winds. 14.5. That's crazy. Let's fast forward this a little bit. Wow, this isn't gonna move through till overnight. But these leading storms here, they almost like, seems like they come and they don't. It's just southerly. That's what always happens. You see the moisture pulling in from the Gulf. Yeah. Some marginal tornado parameters, especially as we get into the early hours. Still a chance, obviously, but not a very high one. All right, so currently no tornado warnings, but we have. Just click up there so we can get a whole view of all these storms here. Yeah, we have severe thunderstorms galore right now. Really kind of three separate events. There is a this is called the Piedmont area, where you have South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. I think Georgia's somewhat included in this general region here. Mainly it's the Carolinas, though. So we have a severe thunderstorm event going on in the Carolinas with a risk of some tornadoes as well. We have the MCS, the it's a mesoscale. Mesoscale convective system. Yeah. So I had thought it was called that, but I didn't want to look like an idiot. And now I look like an idiot because I looked it up. But I don't know. Anyways, it looks like this event may not be a huge tornado producer, or maybe as damaging as I had once thought it would be. I don't know. We do still see areas of maybe slight rotation. Oh, need super res velocity. Like right here. That are just kind of within the line. We have the storms out here in Oklahoma, which have a marginal chance as well of producing tornadoes. Extremely marginal. I think that the Oklahoma area will definitely be less of a worry in terms of chances of producing any tornadoes. I'm sure that all of these are just hail and wind, golf ball size hail. We have quarter size hail. We have quarter size hail. Oh, whoops. No, I can't get it. There we go. Quarter size hail. Ping pong ball size hail. Yeah, so all of these ones out here are pretty much just hail. That's where the main hail threat is. You also have a hail threat with these storms down here too. They can put down some large hail. See if we have any significant hail coming down out of these. Doesn't look like it. Then you definitely have the threat of the MCS moving through. which has not fully organized yet, but give it about 2 hours and this will be a fully organized storm, probably from Tennessee, bowing its way all the way down through Louisiana. As you see, these little pockets of convection down here, here, just kind of all these little things here, they're all going to get pulled up along this this huge complex. You can see this is moving up here. This is getting sucked up into here. So basically it's going to pull all the moisture and all the front storms. It's going to suck into it and create one huge big MCS. That's going to be all for me for right now. I'm going to go take a break. The storms at the current time are not extremely organized. I do think for sure that as it becomes later in the night, though, and I mean, this is a destructive day in terms of storms. We still have, I mean, probably currently right now, there's at least 25 severe thunderstorms going on at the same time. All of them with different attributes of high wind, hail, whether they're part of the MCS or not. Just stay weather aware today, folks. I'm going to be signing off for now. Thank you for joining me. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're kind of new here to YouTube. We're new to the world. Like I said, I have a couple other channels that are just smaller that I like to do in my own time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you liked everything, and please stay weather aware. Thank you very much, and hope you have a wonderful night.